Nope, it's going for it. I'm starting the timer. Boop. And
Can you
most
hear me all right?
importantly,
Curtis, can you hear me all right and everything? Yeah.
yeah, I've got you.
Thanks for
And
having me,
then
lads.
it's all right. Right, cool. Right, everything's as it should be. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let me start the show with a little apology. We're 2 days late. Some would say it was because the amount of alcohol consumed last week.
3 days
Some might
late.
say
3 days.
Is it 3 days? Well, okay,
Yes.
3 days and a bit late. But you'll have to forgive us. We are still like newborn children in this world of podcasting, and we'll more than make up for it. We are also still down on Mike. He's one of our lost boys, but hopefully he will return
He's
at
on a
some
mission.
point next week. He is on a mission to help keep us going, but he will return to
He's gone to
entertain you.
find the lost alcohol.
Yeah. he's given those in need of alcohol some more alcohol as it goes along. But hopefully he's out there watching the show. That'd be really, really nice. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. So welcome to the latest edition of The Boys from Bossk, a show about, well, usually free men.
There is
As
free
they
men.
wander
Frank's
around.
still a man.
Oh, yeah, what does that make
I know,
me?
but he's our guest, and his name's Morgan. Normally, you see, you throw me off. Look, welcome to the latest edition of the show. I was going to do a big intro, but no, we've got a special guest today. Morgan, Frank, welcome to the show. You're a good friend of the show. In fact, you're a good friend of the new establishment, full stop. You've done us many an interview. Like Frank, over lockdown, Frank has seen how I've done, I don't know, about 4 interviews with Frank. Because of one thing or another, they never ended up getting broadcast. But I think I'll just put them all out as one special.
I think that was usually probably subject matter, right? It wasn't suitable for
Daytime.
No, it honestly wasn't. It just things happened the way they did.
We sent them to the lawyers, and they go, "No, you're going to get sued. Don't put that out."
But these things happen in the world of podcasting. But you may also recognize Frank. He does the intro music from the Boys from Bossk on the podcast edition, which you find all over the internet, all over the place, which I love just cutting in to the show each week and putting them out there. So, Frank, I guess you are an honorary boy from the Bossk anyway, but welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, lad.
A live internet audience.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
And I guess if you've listened to the show, you know we talk mostly about nerdy internet type stuff, comic books. If
He's
you will,
live
for
from
the most
Toronto
part.
as well. Come on, that's a good thing for
You're
him
in
as well.
Toronto now. I thought you were
live from Toronto. Toronto still standing, just barely.
Okay, how's is it any point in asking? Is it still under lockdown, or are you free to?
We're like sort of just coming out of it now. Like they're just sort of letting. It's not quite what it is in London. Like there's still masks, and I think it's about like 75% capacity indoors or something like that, or like maybe 80. But it feels like, I mean, it was locked down till the middle of June, like full lockdown. It's one of the longest lockdowns in the world, you know. But
you're a bunch of drunks.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. But everybody was just going to the park and stuff like that, you know. Like everybody was. But they because I know, like they even know from being here, they've changed a lot of the laws here, so you can actually you can get booze, walk down the road. There's all outdoor cafes and stuff now. Like all the bars got permits to basically put outdoor seating. It's probably the same in London, right? So
yeah, there's a lot more outdoor seating. There's a lot more weird. There's a lot of weirdness. Like I saw one dude. I don't know if it's a white thing, but I was on the train going to work. And this dude walks on with a picture frame. He's got no shoes on or anything, right? Tall, long hair, sort of hippie-looking dude. Sits down on the train. He's not wearing a mask, right? And starts picking at his feet. And I'm like, mother, please. I was like, really? I was like, look, you may not believe. Yeah, I was like, he was clearly one of those sister dudes. Like, I don't need shoes. You know, I like my feet the way they are. But I was like, he's doing it on purpose. Who gets on a train? And I know it was about 11 o'clock in the morning. Who gets on a train and starts picking at their feet? I don't care if you're hips. That's nasty shit. And I was just like, that's just I know. I don't like. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're doing it. But cool, you're good. You rock on, bro. But yeah, yeah.
You know what? You should. He could be in the new. He could be in the new Tarantino movie. He could play a major role.
Tarantino's making he's making a Tarantino. Has he announced a new movie? Because I saw he announced he's not giving his mum any money.
Yes,
he's not giving his mum no money.
Yeah. She made fun of him. She made fun of him, so he was like, "She's not getting a penny from me." Did you see? Yeah, no, he did. Well, he's just been doing a couple of podcasts, but he said he doesn't know what the last movie's going to be.
I'm like, Tarantino, that's a bit vicious, though, because mothers only do what mothers do. Do you know what I mean? They're like,
what are you doing? Slag you off and feed you.
Mum, I'm going to make movies. Yeah. I'm writing my script now. Your ass is doing what?
Come to the hoovering up.
It's like Christian Bale. Remember Christian Bale lost it and threw his ma. He got in a fight with his ma. He got in a fist fight with his ma or something. Yeah.
I remember that one. I was just like, it's just weirdness. I'm just like, yeah, London's pretty weird at the moment. But it's always going to be when you got Boris as Prime Minister. Now, that's enough of politics.
That's your other show, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for the other show. Moving on. Entertainment-wise, COVID, we were all right, I think, for the first year or so. But now COVID sort of hit the industry and there isn't actually much out there. And I keep saying this, Disney Plus, I reckon, is going to be in a bit of a problem next year. It's going to start running into trouble, and I think the signs are already there. Have you guys watched? I know Dave's watching on Disney Plus. What have you been watching, like channel-wise, in the States? Have all these, because you've got HBO Max now, which we don't have over here.
I'm trying to think of what. Like I just got Disney Plus to watch that McCartney thing. You know the McCartney thing with Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
Like Rick Rubin's funny, man. Like how that chap, like, do you know, you ever just be like, do you ever put on like a pair of jeans? Like he's always just in shorts and he's sitting there fucking, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's pretty good. You know, it's just McCartney basically telling stories, playing Beatles songs, you know, Dave's favorite. Yeah. And
Paul McCartney, yeah.
Yeah, Paul McCartney pretending he's Paul, you know, he's trying to remember the stories that he's supposed to know. But no, it is. It's kind of funny here. You know, they're actually filming a lot of stuff here because, like Jason Momoa was living across the street, and he used to be walking around here all the time.
Oh, you're name dropping your new bestie, yeah?
Yeah. No, but they were filming that show that he was doing, C, like about all, like the blind fellas or whatever.
Oh, that's his favorite show.
They were filming that, but they filmed a load of stuff. They filmed a load of stuff here because basically the whole financial district just cleared out. It was empty.
Yeah.
It's still like that. It's still got everyone's working from home, so all these people just left the city. It's probably the same in London too.
Yeah.
But I think it was different in parts of the States, obviously, because people were just like, nah, we're not leaving or whatever. So it's the whole sort of thing has changed here, but there's been a lot of stuff getting filmed, and it's, you know, I think Netflix are like opening some sort of headquarters or something here to start stuff. But it's mad, like just even like a mate of mine, you know, he's acted in a couple of shows and stuff. He was saying that there's like so much work because there's so many new streaming platforms. It's like every week you hear of a new one.
Yeah,
you know. And that's how they get it. They just like, they're the one that has that specific thing that you want to watch.
And they film it, don't they, as well in Toronto?
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper than actually filming in New York. And it looks
and
the
it's
train
easy
station's the same.
I know. Well, it's like, like Suicide Squad, that's all done here.
Yeah.
You know, that's all done in this area. Like, it's funny. It's easy enough to sort of make it look like New York, you know?
Well, it's money, isn't it? Canada's been, I think, for the past 15 years, the place where a lot of filmmakers go. Like X-Files was done up in Canada half the time. All the old, before they started going to New Zealand as well, they do a lot of the sci-fi shows up there. So yeah, Canada's always been quite popular. The only competition they had was Georgia, and Georgia sort of were racists. So now everybody's not doing Georgia anymore and moving up. Like Black Panther's like, who's that? There's a famous filmmaker, I've forgotten his name now. He does Medea. Have you heard of Medea? You probably heard of it of Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Your favorite actor of all time.
Tyler Perry, who is like somehow become one of the biggest film producers in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But his talent level, as far as I'm personally consider it, is limited. But somehow he's managed it off the back of.
Was he the one that gave the house to
Harry and Meghan?
Yeah. Like he had some mad mansion.
Yeah, he basically took over the Waynes, didn't he? This guy.
Yeah,
because they were doing everything, and then this guy come along and took their thunder.
It was like sort of like.
Look, as much as I'm not a fan of his work, he's got some serious skills, and the fact that Disney do a lot of their work when they do film the States with him says a lot about him. And he took care of Harry and Meghan. He was like, "Don't worry, those racists in the UK. You don't worry about them, Harry and Meghan. Take care of you."
Yeah, there's none of those here. There's none of those in America.
Needed the money, did he? You come on, let's face it.
Oh no, it wasn't money. It was just like, I'll take care of you.
Don't worry. They may have made the whole 5-6
they may have turned the UK into a sundown town for you, Meghan. But don't worry, you're always welcome here. But yeah, Tyler Perry, big money. I'm expecting him to pop up in a Marvel film at some point. That discussion must have happened.
I hope it up as an old woman or something.
I hope it's not Medea, but he's probably going to pop up at some moment. But I remember watching him, and there was a film, Alex Cross. Look, we've had this discussion before, but yeah, Tyler Perry's a bit special. But he does it. He makes a lot of money out of film studios, and a lot of people pay a lot of money to go and see stuff, and nobody so far has paid money to see me. So I ain't gonna criticize him for that. But yeah, Canada's always been popular. I think always will for filmmaking.
They were just shooting The Walking Dead, or what looked like The Walking Dead, and your man was there. Your man was on set. Like who's the English fella, the main fella in Andrew? You know who I'm talking about? Rick.
Yeah.
He was there. He was there, so I'm like, did they bring? Is he still in the show or no?
Yeah, he's getting 2 movies, which I think are coming out on. I think it's HBO.
Walking Dead spin-offs.
I don't know. It's Andrew Lincoln. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know who's got the rights to Walking Dead, because I think it's AMC in the States, but I think
AMC,
the 2 spin-off films
shown on Fox over here, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Disney Plus have got Walking Dead over here, but I don't know. It's like there's so much going on with that. But yeah, he's getting 2 films, which I assume are going to be released on a streaming service as opposed to the cinema, because nobody's going to the cinema. Hence why Suicide Squad literally killed itself at the box office this week. Do you like that one, guys? Literally, so I haven't seen a film.
Yeah, but that's not even on a streaming service either, is it?
No, it's theatre only for the next 4 weeks.
They're doing that with that Anthony Bourdain documentary as well.
Which one's that?
I think it's called Roadrunner.
Okay.
It's like a documentary about his life and whatever, but it's only in the theaters for now. And then it's probably but then it's probably just gonna be on HBO or something like that.
Well, I think HBO may in the long term start battering Disney to death. Even though Suicide Squad's been an absolute, and I cannot understate this, colossal flop, right? Even though it is.
But Disney have all the Star Wars stuff now too.
I know, but I just don't look. I think Disney again's gonna run into trouble. I've been saying this. The vast majority of the product on Disney is old stuff.
No, I know there's a lot of stuff being filmed, but I've got to keep that secret.
I know, but the vast majority is the vast majority of stuff on Disney is really old stuff. Netflix is spending like $6 billion a year on new products all the time, right? I don't think Disney can catch up, especially if they're just going to rely on Star Wars and Marvel, because
no, they're not.
That's a niche market, and at some point, People are going to go, I've had enough of superheroes. Then
yeah,
what?
but who's got Space Jam? Like, who's the new Space Jam? That's Disney.
Warner
That's,
Brothers,
that's
that'd be
Warner
HBO.
Brothers. That's HBO, baby. They're like, we got that.
I don't know. Like, it's sort of getting to the point where there's just so much. There's too much.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's past that point now. You know, but it's interesting because like your man, like the actor fellow, I know he was saying that he was like the wages aren't the same. Like they're not getting. Yeah, you still have like Brad Pitt and whoever that can pull in tens or not, if not a couple of $100 million for a movie like that. They can command that.
Yeah,
but it's not really. I don't think it's going to keep going like that.
We'll see once lockdown ends. I know people are talking about people who love working from home, but that's just going to take us one more step. What's that film?
Wait till the end of the year when Tom Cruise pulls out 5 films in one hit. Bam, bam.
Yeah.
What was that movie?
Top Gun, Mission Impossible. It's all coming out.
Yeah,
that guy hasn't stopped working.
Yeah.
What was that movie where all the humans are on a spaceship and they're too fat, and a robot saves them? What film's that?
What? Say that again.
There's
fat humans on a spaceship with a robot.
Right, there's a Disney film where the robot's cleaning up Earth, and he ends up on a spaceship where all the humans are meant to come back to Earth, but they're all a bit too fat and comfortable.
Boneheads.
No, it's a Disney film. Come on.
I don't know.
Don't make me fire you lot on the first date.
I've never even heard of this film. I need to watch it.
The really cute one with the cute robot. What is it? Can you remember?
Oh,
Galaxy Quest.
No, it's not that whole.
No, I know what you're talking about. Wally.
Yeah, Wally. There you go.
Yeah.
The one with Wally.
Oh, really?
I reckon it's gonna be.
Wally.
I reckon it's gonna be like that.
I'm definitely
right?
gonna watch that.
It's gonna be quiet for a bit. Then people will be like, I actually need to get to work. I can't spend the entire day with my wife or my husband or my girlfriend or my pet and my kids. I can't do it. I actually need to go to work. And I reckon it'll be like that.
I think, but that's like you're saying about cinemas not being around anymore. I think they will.
Yeah,
I think because people, it's something to do. Like if you live out in the middle of wherever, like it's something to do with your kids. You know what I mean? Like if you have kids or you have something to do on the weekend. You know, there's all these people live in suburbs and different places. It's like they're not gonna not want to do that. You know what I mean? There's only so many things you can watch at home before you're sort of like sick of it.
I think it will. It's the only thing that's going to stop the divorce rate going up. You know, as much as entertaining as all this product is, I like to socialize. So I like to go to cinema on the first night and watch the Avengers film. I like to go to the bar and talk about whatever I watched last night.
You don't come out to no bars.
Not with you, because I like to talk. I like to talk at the bar, Dave.
First goes to a certain type of bar, you know?
Cocktail bar, yeah.
I like to have a conversation in between the pints. Well, all my mates love going on pub crawls. Like, in all the time I've known all my friends claim they like pub crawls, right? They don't like pub crawls. They make it to 2 bars, and then they spend most of the time in the toilet trying to piss before they go on to the next one. And then they'll pretend that they've drunk the drink that they've chucked over their shoulder before they go to the next bar, and then pretend they're drinking now. I'm like, I don't know any. I don't know about you, Frank. You're younger. It might be different, but like pub crawls. I'm like, no, they just don't work.
When I'm over there, we only ever make it to 2 bars.
But that's
they sell big 5-litre jugs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, do you know, Dave? I actually played the Steam Whistle Brewery the other day. Remember the train station?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing down there the other day with the steins of beer.
That was good beer, and that's the Steam Whistle.
It was good beer. It's good.
No, like I said, I'm a big fan of drinking, but not that much. So, where were we? Suicide Squad committed suicide. Live
drinking beer.
Then we were. I forgot where we were.
Drinking beer. Let's drink beer.
Beer. Need to get a beer.
Entertainment news, right? Sorry, Frank. We usually do this. A little bit of entertainment news to keep it going. They've just released a trailer for the Night of the Living Dead. They're doing an animated version. I don't know how that's going to turn out. Did any of you see the original Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't turn out well for the black folks in that. I just don't expect it to turn out well in this, but it was a great film. Totally terrified me for a long time when I was a kid. So that's coming out soon as well. Are you guys? Were you big Night of the Living Dead, Dave? Do you remember that?
Is that the Evil Dead series? Yeah.
No. That's the one without the Evil Dead jokes, and it's a straight up what would happen if zombies came about in the Deep South on a rainy night.
It's an early 90s one.
Yeah, George A. Romero, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember this one.
No, you never.
I might have been stoned.
But if you prefer the Evil Dead, Dave, it's coming back to cinema soon. I reckon it'll be. I do love
a stupid movie.
What year? I didn't even know the original was that old. I mean,
yeah, it's
sort of
black and white. Yeah.
Well,
older than you, Frank.
Yeah, would you believe it? Unlike you.
Unlike me. Well, Curtis is older.
I don't mind being this old. It's all right. It means I've seen a lot. I've seen many things. I've experienced a lot.
If only you could unsee all those things you've seen.
There's many things that I never. There's lots of things that I wish I'd never seen. Whether it was, I don't know. Also, there's lots of films that you've never heard of that I wish I'd never seen. Ishtar being probably the worst movie I've ever seen, and hope to never see again. And before you ask me what it was about, I don't know. And neither should anybody else. Don't spend the time looking it up or wondering what it's just a terrible film, and it took up far too much time of my life. Now, quick, something that didn't take up a lot of my life, but it's still big. Did any of you ever hear of a character called Spawn?
Spawn?
Yeah.
One of the greatest films of all time.
Yeah.
One of the greatest comic books of all time.
Sorry, did you say it's the greatest film of all time?
Oh, come on. It was fantastic when it came out. It was early 90s. Everyone was drunk and stoned, and it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's only been around for 25 years, old Spawn.
Wow.
But it's 25th anniversary comics being released, and apparently it's already sold more launch issues than any comic over the past 25 years. And that's 500,000. 500,000 issues that have been sold. And that's pretty impressive. And hopefully Spawn will get another go in the film. I don't reckon it's ever going to work as a film because it's too similar to Batman and all those other characters out there. But hopefully it will get a movie.
The only thing wrong with Spawn was the bad acting.
Spawn was
the story was there.
Yeah, but that was like the same era as like that Godzilla movie with Ferris Bueller, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great stretch.
I don't know. I just remember, was it John Leguizamo doing The Vindicator? Hey, you can't mess with me, Spawn. I was like, really? Okay. Cool.
It was, I don't know. Have you seen that movie? It's called, what is it called? Fading Gigolo?
No.
Is that what it's called? Hang on.
You're probably yeah. Yara's Quentin Tarantino.
Fading Gigolo, yeah. But basically, I was Woody Allen, right? So I don't know how acceptable that is now. But it's Woody Allen's like basically convinces what's his name? John Turturro.
Yeah.
He wrote and directed it, but basically it's like he's like this old fella, and then like he's working as a florist, and Woody Allen's like this old fella that hangs out in the thing, and he's like, oh, I want to make a bit of money on the side. Would you start going out with these women for me?
Yeah.
And basically Woody Allen pimps him out. It's pretty funny.
No, I never saw that one. I know Woody Allen's John Turturro, is he hot? He was doing well recently.
It's him, Sharon Stone, Sofia Vergara, and Woody Allen.
But I know like Woody Allen's in a lot of trouble. Well, not a lot of trouble. Like, a lot of people don't have a lot of time for Woody Allen anymore. And I think that is a bit of a shame because I grew up watching a lot of Woody Allen's films, which still made no sense to me even now. But it's a shame that he's in that. Well, nearly everybody from that generation is now either going to prison or some level of pervert.
Yeah.
I look. There's a guy on TikTok.
Poor John Travolta.
Well, you say that, but there's a guy on TikTok, and he does.
Why? What's Travolta done?
Well, he's got to be about. He was like 30 in Greece, wasn't
he? You never know. you never know. It's like there's a guy on TikTok, and he does these little videos about scandals that Hollywood forgets, right? And it's literally like, if this stuff happened today, like so many celebrities are so lucky the shit they pulled happened before the age of the internet.
Yeah.
Because they managed to get away with it. The first one I ever had was, what's his name? God.
Come on, spit it out.
This is out.
Richard Pryor.
No, Chuck Berry.
Oh, yeah.
Chuck Berry was a notorious. Yeah.
Did he marry his 14-year-old cousin or something?
No, that was
that was Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
But I didn't know this. The lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? Like, even him, I was like watching this, like, this can't be true. Like, there's a story, alleged story, I'm gonna say, because I don't want to get sued.
We can't afford to get sued.
Yeah.
Allegedly. hey, allegedly. Ryan Giggs, allegedly.
Well, anyway, he's talking about celebrities, and this guy on this TikTok is talking about a celebrity, and he says how basically he slept with a 14-year-old girl. Now, at the time, he didn't know she was 14, right?
Yeah.
Then she turns around to him and goes, I'm 14 and my dad's the local sheriff and they're hunting all over for you. And he's like, oh, I better get you home then. Proceeds to sleep with her again and then take her home. And I'm like, how was that a thing? Like, how? And I'm like,
he must have been in the South.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, he didn't mention that he picked her up at a family barbecue.
Oh my God, really?
Allegedly.
And there's just lots of little stories like that about Hollywood celebrities. And there's another bloke who does songs, right? He does he goes, do we actually listen to the lyrics of songs, right? And there's one.
Well, Frank does, a musician.
There's one Prince song that he did a TikTok video on, and it's basically Prince talking about sleeping with his sister. And I was just like, oh wow, that's the thing. And I was like, that's the thing. But yeah, there's a lot of that there's a lot. I think, like, I don't know. I'm surprised.
Yeah. I heard a story recently about an American
alleged
like an American singer guitar player fella. It's fairly well known. And it was like Golden Showers territory, allegedly.
I'm just like, you hear a lot of stories like that, and I'm just like, especially after like TikTok, I'm just like, oh wow, like wow. But what can you say, Joey? It's like what like it's no wow.
It's like your man in New York, right? Cuomo, he just got gone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I love how he was like, oh no, I wasn't doing that. And what he said in a speech when he was he was resigning, he was like, I have never crossed the line, but obviously the line has changed position. It's like, that is not the right thing to say, man.
And I was thinking of my daughters.
Change the equator.
Yeah, like he was like, listen, used to be all right to grab a woman and, kiss her and like do whatever. That used to be cool. I didn't know it wasn't cool. No one told me, so it's not my fault.
Oh, Lord. I despair. I hope, look, I see why Disney keeps a tight leash on its celebrities now. And I see why they make them sign the contracts they do. Because that's sort of shit. It's like, have you ever touched anybody under this age? Do you take drugs? Do you go to wild parties? Because that like...
Well, I can honestly say if Disney want to sign me up, I'm over 40 now and I don't go to wild parties anymore. Did
you ever go to a swingers party? No. Now, Frank, this is probably quite important to you, actually, as a musician and an artist and somebody, I don't know, I assume you control most of your music at present, and a lot of the younger artists do now. Apparently, like Marvel. So let's say you were the guy who wrote the Winter Soldier story for Captain America, right? You came up with the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And you done it all. You created the story. You brought back Bucky, all the rest of it, and made it really successful. That goes on to make half a billion, right? Or 750 million. I can't remember how much it made. Marvel will then turn around to you, give you £1 back, and $5,000, right? How much would that burn? Or would you
But do you have to sign off complete rights to that?
Well, Marvel's work for
you
hire.
got to sign off all those NDAs and everything, haven't you?
Yeah.
Marvel and DC are work for hire, so they only pay for the work you do. Like they don't pay you even if you create a character. So if like new characters, Miles Morales, right? The Black Spider-Man, he was in that Sony film Into the Spider-Verse, right? The guy, Brian Michael Bendis, who created him, probably doesn't get any money for it. And if he did get any money, it would be the $5,000 and £1 back. And
that depends how much he signed away of the rights, though.
You don't have rights. So if you work for Marvel,
then I'm not even making a character for you. I'll just draw.
Which a lot of them don't do anymore. I don't think there's been many new characters created with Marvel and DC. And
I've heard similar things about Netflix. I've heard similar stuff about Netflix, like sort of because like my little brother be good to come on and chat because he's working on a show, Emerald. I don't know. I think that's what it's called. He's working on that right now, but he's been working on sets for the last while.
The Emerald City.
Maybe the Emerald City. I don't know. It's just Bono's daughter is the main. Bono's daughter and Eva Green are in the show he's working on right now.
Let me look that up. Keep talking while I Google.
I could text him and ask him right now, but yeah, they were because he's been writing scripts and he's sort of putting it out there, and that's what he was saying. Like that, it is kind of this thing where you'll just go and they'll be like, all right, like we'll give you, here's a little chunk of money, and you have to sign off. It is the same with music, like. You go if they give you any money up front for it, they completely just control. Like they're like, we own your masters, which basically means that they own everything from the song, and they just pay you a little kick. You get a little kickback off of it, but it means that they own it. Basically, they get everything, and they just pay you a percentage, as if sort of you're like. It'd be like if I play guitar on someone's song and it was like an important riff on the song, like if it was like a notable riff, if like there's some songs that you hear and it's like, I'm trying to think of an example, but you know what I mean. Like if it was just sort of like the hook of the song was that riff, they'd pay you just a little bit, Sometimes you get paid up front, but if you're lucky, you would get a little percentage of it. Sort of starting to happen more now where people are getting percentages of it. That's why you see these big lists of,
credits at the end.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like a Beyonce song and it's like 100 people or something like that. Because that could be as small as someone just going, oh, put like a little bongo beat here. And then it's sort of like, all right, well, they might only get 2% of it, but 2% of like a Beyonce song, you probably be doing all right. But it's sort of, that's sort of the thing where, they really are just they just completely take control of it. And,
that does worry me a bit, just in terms of creativity. It's like, I know I can understand Marvel Comics doing that, because Marvel Comics, I don't think makes a huge amount of money. Like a comic book business is not a big money maker anymore. But when organizations like Disney and Netflix do that, that really worries me, because it sort of means that the vast majority of money is going up, and there's no real attempt to negotiate. Like, unless you're Dave Chappelle. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're Dave Chappelle, you can go.
I feel like Chappelle, but like Chappelle Chappelle walking away from everything is the only reason he can do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he was away from it for so long that it was sort of like...
It was nearly 10 years, wasn't it? It was a
long time. Yeah, if not longer, you know. So I feel like at that point, it was like when he was ready to come back and do stuff, he could command that price because he knew how much people wanted it.
Yeah.
Do you know? But I think that's what's awful about people starting out, because you're trying to get a leg in the door and there's 10 other people that'll take it if you don't. Do you know? And it's sort of the thing where then people are like, all right, well, same with music, all right, you can do it yourself and you just put it on the internet and self-release it and stuff like that. But especially with scripts, like how do you do it? What, you're gonna get the money together to shoot something yourself? And you know, and then it's when you put stuff on the internet, it can work sometimes if you're lucky, but it can also be sort of like pissing in the ocean. You know,
a bit like our show.
But sorry, you know, at the same time, you know, you look at like Joe Rogan and like how Joe Rogan started it off like this, and like that fella's in shock, I think, of just where that has gone.
Yeah,
you know, and it's just.
Oh, it always starts off small. Every story I've ever heard about success is that it starts off small, and you're doing it for a year or whatever, and then all of a sudden your numbers start going up. Now, I've learned a few tricks over the past couple of months to help change that. And actually, Frank, one of the highest rated videos that I've done in the past, like whatever amount of time I've been podcasting, it's got your name on it. So that's still one of our most watched podcasts.
Hey, 40 viewers this week.
But it's like one of those things. I know that to get my numbers up, I've got to get better equipment in. I've got to be a bit more prepared in terms of these podcasts. I've got to create clips, all that type of stuff. I know this.
It's sort of weird, isn't it? Like the way it's all going with, you know, this is also the thing that's sort of touchy with music and streaming and everything. Like I just read they were having a thing in the English Parliament. Like they're not doing it anywhere else, but in England, they seem to be trying to address the fact that musicians are getting ripped off. Like there was some girl and she wrote a song, you know, Kylie Minogue had some album this year, last year, something disco or something, right? And whatever song from that album went #1 in England and parts of Europe. The girl that wrote the song made £100. And she wrote the bloody song. And she's driving an Uber, she's living with her parents, and the song's playing on the radio. And she's going, it's not that there's a lack of money, because there's some people are making a lot of money off it.
Yeah.
It's just the actual writers, the actual artists are not really. It's probably Kylie Minogue's probably getting a few bob, but like, you know, it's just set up like, it's like, you know, Spotify are worth like how much money? They're worth billions or something, you know?
Billions.
That's like, what concerns me.
Wants to buy Arsenal Football Club at $2 billion, so
that's what
they're
really
not hurting if they
can
just sort of like sneeze out 100 million at 67 billion. Thanks.
Thanks, Morgan.
Like Joe Rogan has Jamie, I have Morgan, you know. You fact check that, yeah. 67 billion.
You see, that's what concerns me about the whole entertainment industry, especially with comic books. People keep telling me there's no money. They keep saying there's no money in music. You know, there's no money in music. There's no money in this. I'm like, I'm sorry, but Spotify, iTunes, Amazon have all set up their own streaming services, and I think there's a load more. Tidal. Somebody's making money.
Jay-Z never.
Right? Somebody's making some cash.
Yeah.
The only people that don't seem to be making cash are the ones actually making the music.
Well, I should send you this clip. Like, Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son, was on Joe Rogan, and they got talking about this, you know, and about the music industry, and he was going, and you know, Rogan's going, you know, you're making money off vinyl now, and your man, he's like, no, you're not. He goes, like, vinyl's like, you don't make that much money off it. He's like, so he calls it up. But you know, pie chart of the breakdown of what you earn from music.
Yeah,
96% of it is streaming, and then it was sort of like
for years.
I think it's like if you get 5 million streams, you have to get 10 million streams to go gold, and 5 million streams, you earn less than 20 grand. And the price of things nowadays, 100,000 streams, you make $380.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan, do you want a job? There's no money in it.
Need a showrunner.
Curtis is offering you a job. Yeah, she's taking it. Come in for a sec. Come in. No. All right.
She's too pretty for TV.
No, I agree. I think there's somebody's making money somewhere. The streaming services have just found a way to hide that money.
Oh, but that's what your man says to Joe Rogan. Your man rips Joe Rogan, and he's going, because Joe Rogan's like, oh, well, there's a lot of money, and he goes, obviously there's a lot of money. Like, he's basically looking at him like, yeah, you got 100 million to talk shite, you know, like, fair enough, but you know, it's not even there. And it's like he kept sort of like poking fun at Rogan, and he wasn't catching it. And then it was at the end, he was like, oh, look at this vintage car, and he goes, I couldn't afford it. You can probably afford that. You've got a few quid. And you could see it on his face. Like, he was like, he's making fun of me. All right, you know.
Well, Joe Rogan deserves it. How man's become so famous doing so little. I still don't get it. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people love him. I know a lot of people love him, and a lot of people have a lot of time for him. But I'm like, every time I see a video of him, he's saying dumb shit.
Donald Trump was president.
Yeah. And he loves to play this sort of on the fence. It's this sort of, I don't know, sorry to get political. He keeps doing this sort of libertarian on the fence, but it's not really on the fence, and it's not really libertarian. It's like, I'm trying really hard not to annoy the dumb people. And that's all he seems to do.
I think he's sort of like, he's become like Oprah for American men, you know. Do you know what I mean?
Such a perfect. You've got to come on the politics show. I know we're not. I know this is an entertainment show, but you've got to come over to the politics show because that's a perfect.
That's a Morgan line. I have to give credit where credit's due. That's a Morgan line. Joe Rogan's like you know, Oprah for like white American fellas.
American men.
Yeah.
Like, unhappy men all around the world, the ISIS generation, the incel generation of men who feel that masturbation isn't enough to keep them happy. But anyway, we'll do that for another show because this show is oh god, I've got a
chat show with Frank this week.
Yeah, this is all about the Frank, right?
No.
No, we're not going to do that to you. Right, so entertainment, where was I? No, because last week's show was about how angry lots of American men got about He-Man. And I was like, I can't handle this. I don't know if I could do a show and keep a straight face about how angry so many people were about He-Man. Because literally, of all the franchises from when I was a kid, He-Man was just like, like, I think there's only 130 episodes of He-Man. And they're all silly episodes, right? And like,
there's less episodes of Thundercats, and that was even worse.
Yeah, there's more episodes of what was the worst cartoon in the 80s? There's more episodes of really bad cartoons in the 80s than He-Man. And don't get me wrong, I've got a soft
Jason
spot
the World Warriors.
No, I think there's not many of those.
That's what I mean. But that was a bad program. It was on all the time.
But literally, I go onto YouTube and I see people harassing Kevin Smith. Now, I don't like Kevin Smith. To me, is a really lovely human being. He's like the anti-version of Joe Rogan, right? He's just a nice guy, wants to make films, doesn't want to annoy anybody, not just the incels, but anybody, and just entertain people, right? He's almost strikes me as a Canadian, but he's actually from New Jersey, I think. Although he loves,
I thought he was Canadian, is he not?
So did I, but I think he lived in Jersey.
Just because he's for life.
I always thought he was like from Calgary or somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought he was Canadian, but I think he loves Canadian hockey teams. But I don't know if he's Canadian.
They've just opened that burger shop, like, you know, the burger shop from
They
just opened that here.
What is it? The Clerks Free one. The Moo Pie.
I thought you can look it up. Yeah, they just opened that here.
Really?
Yeah, and it's all like, you know, on spec from. Yeah, it's on spec from the movie.
Movie, that's it.
Movies.
It's a movie price, yeah. I hope they open one up over here when it launches. But literally, the amount of abuse Kevin Smith's been getting over the past couple of weeks over He-Man, I'm like, who are these men that are upset that He-Man's not here? They literally go, you ruined my childhood. What type of childhood did you have that Kevin Smith could ruin just by not putting He-Man in a cartoon? How bad? What did your parents do to you? And yeah, this has been my 2 weeks. And I know people think I've been going on about it a lot, but I promise you, if you go to YouTube now and go to any of Kevin Smith's videos, they're getting downvoted on a like biblical scale, like 20,000 downvotes on whatever videos he's putting out at the moment.
Wow.
Because they hate him that much. Kevin Smith, you ruined my childhood. And I'm like, who are these men? But
what do you think? No, I was going to ask you, like, what do you think this Batman, the new Batman's going to be like?
I think it's either going to be a really
big vampire
hit. Oh, sorry, which new Batman? Are we talking about the actual film,
Robert Pattinson one? Like,
I think it's either going to be a really big hit or an awful failure. Because Robert Pattinson, I don't hate him. I've got no real issue with him, but I don't know if angry emo suits Batman so much.
Yeah, it's going a bit like Spider-Man 3, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just like but
the dancing scene.
But from everything I've seen, it looks good.
It's sorry, but don't you feel like there's not enough time between, like, you know, like well, I suppose the Christopher Nolan stuff was 10 years ago, really now.
Yeah,
but still, it's like, give it a minute, you know.
I agree. I think DC as an organization are just too obsessed with Superman and Batman, and I've said it from the start. Their first film out of the door should have been Wonder Woman.
But would they not? I'd love Tim Burton to come back and do one.
That'd be really good.
Yeah, like a modern Tim Burton one, like.
Because I remember Adam's DC, isn't it? Black Adam's going to be DC.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's something new, and Dwayne Johnson sells everything. So
yeah.
No, I think.
And if you get Dwayne Johnson and Aquaman in the same film, it's going to be game over, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that Tim Burton.
Housewives everywhere.
I don't think Tim Burton gets enough love, and I think it'd be really good if he came back. I know they are bringing back his Batman in a new Flash film. So it's bringing back the '89 Batman, who was Michael Keaton, who's been filming his scenes. So that's at least something.
I watched that during lockdown, and yeah, it was still a great film.
Which one? The '89
Batman. The very first one with
with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
it's classic.
But you watch it now, it's so dated, but it's so good still.
Yeah,
I remember at the time everybody hated it before it came out. Like literally, people like
that's because it was different.
Yeah, Prince did the soundtrack too.
Yeah,
it's just cool. Like, you know, I think the next one too with Danny DeVito was heavy.
That was all right,
especially for Danny DeVito at the time. Was like comedy little guy, and suddenly seeing this raw fish and pretty fat.
I know, and you bite your man's nose off, like. But you know, like I thought the one with Val Kilmer was decent too. Like I think that was, you know, they went too far with George Clooney, definitely, but that one still sort of holds up, you know, like Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey.
Well, the Val Kilmer one, I think they were still following on from what Tim Burton did.
That was the Poison Ivy one, wasn't it?
The George Clooney one.
Clooney was the Poison Ivy one, yeah.
The Clooney one was clearly the director had just gone and watched the 60s Batman, and that was his template.
Who was that? Was that Joel Schumacher?
Yeah, because if you look at it, it looks like the 60s episode. The jokes, the puns. I used to see you. No! like Schwarzenegger's puns.
No, but I think Arnie puts his own puns in.
Yeah, it was like it took it right back to the 60s, and I think that's what the problem was. Everybody blames George Clooney, but I think George Clooney just did George Clooney was just George Clooney.
Time to chill.
Yeah. It was like
that ruined Clooney's whole creative as an action hero.
No, I think he did a few films afterwards. I think it was just superhero films he was done with.
He didn't really do no action hero films.
I'm sure he did. There was a nuclear missile one he done with Nicole Kidman. That might have been before or afterwards. I can't remember.
He did Tomorrowland as well. Just remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I love George. I always think George Clooney's great ever since
ER.
Where Art Thou? Which is a very good story.
Yeah, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Is that the prisoner one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
But yeah, I'm very much like that George Clooney, that Batman. I can't remember what it was called. It was Batman Forever.
Yeah, Batman Forever. That one.
No, that was the one with Val Kilmer, and then Batman and Robin was
Batman Begins.
That was it. Batman.
George Clooney. Batman Begins was the one with. That was when it switched to
Alicia Silverstone and the other one. I don't know. There's been too many. See.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Case in point, right?
Yeah. But that's it. I think there's too many of them. I think they need to focus on other characters that have got in DC rather than Superman and Batman. And to be quite honest, I think people are over.
But you say that, how many Spider-Man films are there?
Oh, that's out of hand. That's even worse.
Yeah, but look at what's happened to them. Do you know what I mean? It's like
what's this one going to be? Number 9?
Yeah, but number 9, where after the first Spider-Man film was all right. The second one was
but you're forgetting about the ones that you can't remember from the 80s and stuff like that as well.
What, the TV show with the string?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
that was good. That one was good. Yeah, I like that
one. let's not go
there. The very Hulk ones with Lou Ferrigno,
yeah.
Yeah, but they serve the purpose. I'm not being bad, but they.
Can I just run and get a beer?
Yeah.
That's all right. Don't come back.
Go.
Permission.
To get
I still think at the end of the day, if you look at the Batman films and compare them to the Spider-Man films, you do a great disservice to the fact that out of all the Spider-Man films, maybe 2 of them were good before Marvel got hold of the franchise, and that was the first Spider-Man and the second Spider-Man film. The rest
Are you talking about the Tobey Maguire ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good. They were very good films. They stood their own test of time.
So I'm very much.
And then they made Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3, I'll never.
That was when Tobey Maguire went, I don't want to do it no more. Just one more film. Come on.
That's when the director gave up because I was watching it, and I was in the cinema with I think an ex-girlfriend at the time. And she was into comic books but not that much, and she didn't know about Venom. So I started telling the story about Venom. I was an alien symbionte. Spider-Man got on an alien world, and at first the suit was cool, and then it wasn't. And then watching the film, lump of shit drops from the sky, lands a meter away from Peter Parker, and I was like, "Hold on, what? Hold on, what?" And that just set the tone for the entire film. And it had what annoyed me the most about that film is that the Sandman underlying storyline was really good. The whole introduction of Sandman, the sadness of the moment that he becomes Sandman, but then it's spoilt with the way they introduce Venom, who literally is a lump of shit that falls from the sky with no. How many films have you ever seen do that? Where they literally you're sat there watching it, it's like that's a lump of shit that just landed and dropped from the. What is going on here? And that was a terrible film. But I think that ever since Marvel got hold of it, the franchise has been better. But I don't think there's been too many Spider-Man films. It just hasn't been too many good ones.
Oh, you're saying Spider-Man 3 with the thing landing?
Yeah. See, he's disappeared. He knows already.
No, but do you remember the cartoon? Do you remember how Venom came in the cartoon, where it was the Brooklyn Bridge and the space shuttle was J. Jonah Jameson's son. They land the spaceship on the bridge, and then they take it out of the thing, and like that would have just been so cool if they had done that.
There was no budget for that.
Yeah, at that point.
No, from what I hear, because the director, there was the same director as Evil Dead. Again, why do I never check this?
Sam
Raimi. That's it.
Sam Raimi, yeah.
So Sam Raimi got bullied by the studio so badly that they were like, Venom's got to be in it. And Sam Raimi was like, how? I've got a really good story about the Sandman, which is a good story within a film. How am I going to put Venom in? We don't care. And I think that was it. He just went, fuck it, and lump shit from the sky. There you go.
Maybe he just took a dump and thought, fuck it, I'm going to film this.
Yeah. Because if you look at the actual Venom film, that whole plot line about the space shuttle crashing is actually in the first Venom film they do. So I still think it was quite interesting the way that happened. And I do hope that, whatever comes next with Spider-Man, that they don't end up going down the Batman route with the Marvel films, because my God, they were camp, and they were that Batman and Robin film forever. Like Christopher Nolan deserves a medal, the Nobel Peace Prize, for bringing that back, because that was a task I would have taken up. Hey, do you want to do the new Batman film?
Yeah.
I don't know.
As long as I can go dark Batman.
Yeah.
That's what made the first two Batman films. Because the one with Bane, third film failure, isn't it?
Was it
though? It was a good film, but it just
it's good.
The
it's
first
just
too
much.
Were tens.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the first one was great. You know what I mean? I think it's just.
I walked out of cinema the first one. I thought, oh, what was this crap I just watched? And then I waited for it to come on DVD, and I thought, oh my God, this is the best film ever.
Blasphemy!
But I done the same with The Matrix. I went to the cinema and went, oh, this is rubbish. And then watched it 2 years later. I thought, oh, this is really good. Didn't understand it at the time.
It's fair enough. I suppose there's lots of films that are like that. I can't think of many that I've done it with. What about you, Frank? Are there any films that you've seen in the cinema and been like, this is shit? And then gone home?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember, you know.
Gravity's still shit for me, and I saw that in the cinema. I went to watch
you know
on TV.
what? I'm trying to think. You know what we did watch recently was Arrival. That was pretty cool. Seen that?
Which one?
Arrival.
But the other brown bit of poo that just sits there for the whole film.
I mean, you can't like. I still can't get over Jeff Bezos with his rocket. Like that looks like a giant Willie Nelson. There's something weird about Bezos though, because I was watching this documentary about Amazon and how he sort of built it up, and there was an interview with him in the 90s, like 97, and in the back of his office he has all these Austin Powers figurines on his window. And I was going, that's pretty weird. Like, he's obsessed with Austin Powers. Like, he's literally turning himself into Dr. Evil.
Laser beams of sharks.
Yeah, look at the rocket. He was one step away from it being a big boy.
Yeah.
You know? Next thing, he's going to be coming out with a cat.
Don't be surprised.
He lives in Seattle. Like, he's, you know, like... It's too much, too close to home. No, I'm trying to think of like some awful movie you walked out of or something.
I've never walked out of a film. I should have walked out of Ishtar. Again, don't look it up. Don't question it. Just trust me on it.
I just ordered it.
It's just a bad film.
I think there's a few like things on streaming that are pretty woeful.
God, there's loads on Amazon that are awful.
Well, there's some good stuff coming, including Why the Last Man. See, I'll drop that in there, boys. Why the Last Man? That's coming in the States on FX and Hulu, but I think it might make it onto Disney Plus. And can I also point out, right, that Warner Brothers, who own all the DC comic book characters, seems really bad at retaining stuff, because Why the Last Man is actually was a DC property. It was self-owned, but like it was published by DC. They let that script go, and now I reckon it's going to be. If you watch the trailer, it's brilliant, and that's going to be a big hit film. hit series. It's have any of you heard of it before?
No.
It's basically a story about a world where nearly every single human male dies. And although some possibly
Death by
so what fact? Death by snooze.
And basically, there's just one male left, and as opposed to making a great and better world, it doesn't. But it's a fantastic story. I remember reading, and that's coming out, and that'll be out, like I said, on FX and Hulu in the States, and I assume Disney Plus over here. Otherwise Sky, but that's another Disney property they let go. Did any of you watch Sweet Tooth?
Yeah.
Did you hear about Sweet Tooth?
No.
You haven't watched Sweet Tooth? Oh, it's really good.
No,
you gotta watch it.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and that's another property that was published by DC and Warner Brothers, and they let that go. And that's produced by Robert Downey Jr. as well, and they've let it go. And it just seems to be property after property they're letting go. Sandman, which is another big one coming up by Neil Gaiman.
Wow.
That's going to Netflix. Again, published by DC. And I think DC needs to really look at what they're doing.
Because it's not Superman.
Yeah. Anything that's Superman, they seem to miss. And apparently Henry Cavill's quit as Superman, so we're going to be getting a new Superman at some point.
No way.
In the next couple of years, but Henry Cavill will not be returning as Superman at any given moment. Which I didn't used to like Henry Cavill. Really didn't like him. I thought he was literally a flying plank of wood. But he grew on me. I don't know, but like he grew on me as he did. I know with the ladies did when he did The Witcher. But also, he's a full-on proper nerd. He built his own computer, which I've got.
I saw that on YouTube. Yeah. That's really good.
And he did it topless. Which how many nerds can do that? How many nerds do we know that can build a computer topless and attract a massive female audience? I know I couldn't. Actually, let me take the top off. Hold on.
The kids watching.
Tony, maybe Tony, maybe Tony.
Yeah, you don't want to see this. Tony probably could at the moment. I reckon Big Dave, you'd have a good shot with all the long hair.
What?
Looking like Dave Grohl, more like Dave Grohl every day.
What are you on about?
You with your hair. Frank, have you seen his hair?
Don't knock it. Yeah. I'm in my 40s now. It's one last hoorah.
Right.
No, so, he's instead of Aquaman, he's like Alcoman. Alcoman.
Let's drink more.
Yeah.
Right.
Aquaman drunk a lot though.
Yeah.
Well, in the comic books, he did drink a lot.
Jiu-jitsu. Is that vegan?
Probably.
Like you're like these bloody musicians.
Ribs.
I could do with some ribs.
Plant-based.
Right, so I guess we should do because do you know what I did again? I always underestimate how long we could talk for. We've actually gone over an hour, which
we can talk forever because we haven't seen Frank for over a year.
Yeah.
But did any of you watch What If? Frank, did you watch What If? It's okay if you didn't.
No.
Well, yes, I did. Well, we can save it till next week.
We can save it for Monday.
Yeah, we'll save that one for Monday. And people can find out what we think of it as it goes along. I've got no more news. So there's no more big
I got some big news.
What's your
Someone dies in Bad Batch tomorrow.
Oh really? Oh,
that's the big news. Someone big dies. Is it Crosshair? Is it Hunter? No one knows.
But it's someone.
Is it Omega?
No.
Oh, you won't know. You'll have to wait and see till Friday.
Have you only recently got what should we call it, Disney Plus? So you haven't have you watched any of the Star Wars stuff yet, Frank? Have they pulled you in?
I just saw the thing for Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I want to watch that. But no, I haven't gotten into it yet, but I'm planning to at some point.
Well,
what about Morgan? Is she a big Disney fan?
Yeah.
She's a princess, of course she is.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's just funny with sort of, we go through phases of like sort of watching different things, in and out of lockdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know, actually, the thing I do want to watch is that Showtime thing J.J. Abrams did about the aliens. You seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's like, you see all these videos that the CIA are releasing about aliens now. It's a 4-part thing on Showtime, produced by J.J. Abrams, and it's all these Navy pilots talking about the stuff they've seen, and it's all this new footage that the CIA have just released.
UFO, is that the one?
Yeah, I think so.
4-part docuseries from JJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll watch that over the weekend then.
Yeah, I was talking to a fella last night who said he watched it, and he was like, big things are about to happen, man. I was like, oh, great. Like, we need anything else.
Look, as long as they don't turn out to be like, super weird aliens, I'm down with it, man. I just like, I'm not like, I don't believe that there's any like aliens out there that have come to Earth. I don't believe.
You don't believe in Predator? Is that what you're saying?
Well, why would you travel that far if you had the technology?
He's a bounty hunter.
Yeah, if you had technology that advanced, why would you travel to Earth to hunt shit? It's because
sometimes you just need to kill a cat.
Look, I'm not buying it. It's like when those alien films were coming for Earth's resources. We want oil, water, right? There's literal rocks of ice out there. Why would you come to Earth?
No, but some of the weird. I think the weirdest thing about this alien thing is, why is the CIA just being like, yeah, cool, finally just gonna admit there's aliens?
Because they don't know.
Because 5G's being turned on.
I honestly believe is that nobody really knows. Because
I think there's all these different theories flying around. Some people think it's like a false flag, like it's a setup, like they're gonna use it as an excuse to do something. Some people think it's actually the CIA that have these like this technology, and they're like, oh, look at these aliens, but it's actually them setting everyone up. Other people think like there was these like Tic Tac things that went down into the ocean, like they were flying around, with changing direction, they're doing things that, in terms of human understanding of physics, are completely impossible, and they're just whipping around.
It's just like eyesight over light sight. The light is faster than the eye.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It could be. Look, I love it, and if something comes about, I'll be really, really excited.
These things were going down into the Air Force were chasing them like off the coast of Hawaii or something. They're chasing them, and then these things just went boom down into the ocean. And they go, so
why are they always around America? What's so special about America?
Yeah, I know. No, I think there's been a load like all over the place. Like there was like then there was like footage of this like little alien thing in South America, like running past someone's house.
Oh, Grogu. It was Grogu. That's who it was.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? If they are showing up, they're probably showing up because they're sort of like, all right, you're making a balls of things. You need some help.
I don't know. Well, I just don't know. I'd love there to be aliens, but I'm just like, either which way, it's bad news for me. Really, it's like if it's the worst of the worst, I'm dead in the first wave, so that's all over. Best case scenario, I'm maybe used as an alien incubator. It doesn't, even
one of the best.
It doesn't work out.
I'm an alien incubator. You should get a T-shirt saying that.
Yeah.
One of the best theories I heard recently was that COVID was an excuse to basically get everybody ready for the aliens, and it was a way to prepare people's systems for the bacteria that's going to come from another planet.
That's a goodie. Don't get me wrong, but it's a long-winded way for an alien. Do you know what I mean?
It's the rabbit hole, and I mean, it's like they're going to come down and tell us the Earth is flat.
Humans, stop watching YouTube.
Yeah,
because that chases you down that rabbit hole.
As long as it's not an alien version of Jehovah's Witnesses, man, I'm just like,
live next door to a bunch.
Yeah, as long as it's not particularly religious aliens, I'm cool. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we'll come to tell you about Zod. Have you got time to speak to us about Zod? I just, as long as it's not that or more. space Mormons.
I think it would be. Well, no, it would be hilarious if they came and they were Scientologists, and the Scientologists were like, "See, Tom Cruise is like, I told you I was right."
And then they all flood out of their ship with guns, and it's alien versions of Tom Cruise, just like that film. And Tom Cruise was just preparing us for the fact he was going to wipe us all out. Clones of him were just going to kill every human on Earth, which doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that if you're an alien? But yeah, that's just me. Yeah.
What would you do if you went to another planet? If you had a little ship and you found your way to another planet, what would you do?
Find the nearest bar.
Yeah.
I like to think that I'd observe them, and if they were, if it was worth talking to them, I'd be like, okay, let's check if we can communicate, and I'd have a chat. Like that's my hill.
Oh, you're so boring. Have a chat.
Yeah, I'd have a chat.
Let's fill up a chair, bean, and have a whiskey and have a chit chat.
I'm showing them how to make beer. I'm just like, I'm very much of the opinion. At the end of the day, I want there to be aliens out there. I'd love it. But the idea that species would travel so far, because it had to be far to get here,
maybe it's not. They're not coming from outer space. Maybe it's interdimensional.
Maybe.
Oh my God, you lot are going way too far now.
The idea that they'd come all this far and start just to tip cows over, and invade and poke stuff up hillbillies' bottoms. It doesn't.
It's always a hilly-billy as well. Have you noticed that? It's never.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, they'd all show up and there'd be like this weird thing, and then someone would be like, "Do you want a beer?" They'd all start having beer. It'd be like they'd be crashing everywhere. It'd be like, "We're gonna come take over your planet." Yeah. Here's some tequila.
Yeah, it would be exciting if something happens, but I just doubt it. I think people are getting far too excited about the idea, of aliens coming here and chilling. I just don't see it anytime soon. But you never know. You never know.
Maybe they've been here all along, Curtis.
Maybe they were here before us and have come back and they're like, where the fuck are them? They were. What was it? I saw a Twilight Zone comic book once, and basically the humans find a way to get into space, and the aliens they actually meet are super advanced dinosaurs. Because remember, the dinosaurs were here before us, and we're only here purely by accident, right? Purely by a massive accident happened, are humans here. So what if dinosaurs continue to evolve and grow and whatever? Would they, we're not that special, is what I'm saying. So what would happen,
Wow, this has become really, really political.
Oh, we're broken days.
So basically, super advanced dinosaurs.
That's been smoking weed or been drinking, and then you got into this stage of the night.
I wish I could smoke some weed right now. All right, guys, coming in the next couple of weeks is the last episode of Rick and Morty. Have you been watching Rick and Morty? Any Rick and Morty fans out there? Apparently, it's going to be an hour long special for the final episode of season 5. Which has been, I think, according to most people, the most disappointing season so far of the Rick and Morty franchise. Thankfully, they didn't fall into any pit holes that the previous seasons did. Like, they haven't mentioned that McDonald's. What is it? The sauce they had? Szechuan sauce. Which led to loads of McDonald's employees being assaulted for fucking sauce. They haven't fallen into those pit holes, but the season's been pretty bad overall. So they've got an hour-long episode, so hopefully they'll drag themselves from the pits that they've got themselves into there. And I think that's about it. We'll review What's If on Monday. Hopefully, Frank.
The last episode of Bad Batch will review as well.
Yep, Bad Batch. And hopefully, Frank, you'll be back.
Yeah, anytime.
Nice having you here on a show. Dave was so excited about you coming on that I got excited about you coming on.
Hey, I've been one of my best friends in ages. Come on.
Nice to know that Dave getting excited is what excites you, not just me.
No, I'm really sorry. And Morgan will talk pay and wages in the next.
She could do all our stuff for us for the rest of the build-up work, and then just read our script.
But yeah, we'll be back. I guess that's it. And Lower Deck should be out on Amazon next week. Not guaranteeing that, but I think it's usually a week after. It's on Paramount Plus, I think, this week. So I assume it's coming out on Amazon.
We're also going to talk about The Equalizer, right? With Queen Latifah.
Do you remember The Equalizer, Frank? I know the film.
No, we'll talk about this on Monday. Come on. This show's overrun already.
We'll be back for more.
We got so much to talk about.
We'll be back for more. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another classic episode of The Boys from Bossk. Just when I think we've done enough, there's always more.
There's always
more. So join us again next week as we take you through the world of entertainment. And hopefully Mike will be back. But if he's not, we'll see. But anyway,
Frank.
Frank, if you're free Sunday night, we're doing a politics show, just in case you want to.
Yeah.
Only. We'll talk about Tom Ford.
I think yeah.
Tom Ford, Rob Ford.
Rob Ford, yeah, that's it.
Because I haven't I've kept up with a bit of American politics.
He's not in America, he's in Canada.
Take me through.
Yeah, in Canada. I'm in Canada because of American politics.
Yeah. He can take me through some of it. But yes, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, join us then. This was The Boys from Bossk.